This lesson will introduce, describe, and provide examples of ABC and scatterplot data collection methods. To present each of these data collection methods in a school-based context, we'll describe how a school district behavior specialist used each data collection method. Because the resources we'll be talking about are included in a published manuscript, we'll walk through a hypothetical rather than a real example to protect student confidentiality. Additional information regarding the manuscript will be shared through supplementary resources as part of this lesson. The hypothetical case involves Tony, a 5th grade student receiving special education services under the eligibility category of autism spectrum disorder. While Tony was making progress in his inclusive 5th grade classroom, his teachers were concerned Tony's self-injurious behaviors were limiting his school achievement as well as his safety within the school setting. When in the classroom, Tony would bang his head against tables, walls, and doors with enough force to result in red marks and even bleeding. Similar results occurred when he would slap himself in the face with open hands and hit himself in the face with a closed fist. First, let's discuss ABC data collection. The ABC method of data collection is commonly used to hypothesize the functions or root sources of reinforcement maintaining occurrences of student behaviors within school settings. ABC data collection involves specifically and objectively observing and documenting what happens before the antecedent, during the behavior, and after the consequence, each occurrence of behavior targeted for data collection. When collecting ABC data, it's important to involve multiple data collectors as well as collect data in a variety of settings and at different times of the day. This approach to data collection helps to paint a clear and comprehensive picture of the relationship between student behaviors and environmental variables that consistently precede and follow occurrences of the target behavior. Some examples are the presence or absence of task demands, peers and adults, and preferred items and activities. Through ongoing ABC data collection, patterns emerge that can help educators hypothesize the function or root source of reinforcement maintaining occurrences of target behaviors. An ABC data collection form is included in this lesson. Antecedents and consequences included on this form were gathered through an array of data collection measurement tools, including questionnaires and interviews, and completed with a variety of stakeholders, including family members, classroom teachers, and school administrators. Educators should gather data through the measurement tools mentioned earlier or similar tools, as well as collaborate with home and school stakeholders, including family members, classroom teachers, and school administrators, to customize ABC data collection forms such as this one prior to collecting data on their students' behaviors. It's important to note that as antecedents and consequences associated with a particular problem behavior change, the antecedents and consequences on ABC data collection forms should change as well. After completing daily ABC data collection forms for 2 weeks, Tony's team noticed 2 patterns within their data. First, instances of self-injurious behavior were typically preceded by an activity during which Tony did not receive direct attention from an adult. Second, instances of self-injurious behavior were typically followed by Tony accessing immediate attention from one or more adults. To summarize, access to adult attention was a consistent consequence associated with occurrences of self-injurious behaviors. Next, let's discuss scatterplot data collection procedures. Scatterplot data collection procedures can support educators with a better understanding of relationships between student behaviors and the environments in which these behaviors occur. Given the many responsibilities of a classroom teacher, it can be difficult to identify variables within the environment, such as time of day, method of instructional delivery, subject matter being taught, and peer interaction that may increase or decrease the probability problem behaviors occur. Scatterplot data collection makes it easier to identify trends over time that are not easily detected when monitoring daily student activity. Identifying these trends can help teachers efficiently detect root causes of problem behaviors they may not otherwise notice over the course of a school day. There are 3 components involved in scatterplot data collection. First, similar to interval recording and momentary time sampling data collection procedures, we divide the observation period into time intervals. Second, we document whether or not the behavior occurs, as well as how often the behavior occurs during each time interval. Third, we analyze the data to determine the relations between the presence or absence of environmental variables and instances of the target behavior. An example of the weekly Scatterplot data collection form completed by Tony's teachers is included as an example of what this data collection procedure may look like in the school setting. While collecting Scatterplot data, Tony's teachers analyzed their data to determine when and where self-injurious behaviors were most likely to occur, as well as when and where self-injurious behaviors were least likely to occur. After collecting Scatterplot data for 2 weeks, Tony's teachers noticed 3 patterns in their data. First, instances of self-injurious behaviors typically occurred during activities with minimal one-on-one interaction between Tony and an adult. Second, instances of self-injurious behaviors only occurred when one or both of Tony's classroom teachers were present. Third, instances of self-injurious behaviors typically occurred after lengthy periods of time without one-on-one attention from one of Tony's classroom teachers. Since instances of self-injurious behaviors occurred frequently in the presence of Tony's classroom teachers, but rarely in their absence, as well as typically followed activities with minimal one-on-one interaction with Tony's classroom teachers, Tony's team hypothesized that attention, specifically adult attention from Tony's classroom teachers, may be the function or source of reinforcement maintaining occurrences of self-injurious behaviors.